Okay, so, uh, we got some things to talk about now, don't we? Um, so for one, yes, I know this channel's been dead for about a year, but, yeah, so have the Condors, so, gonna have to deal with it. I'm gonna try and upload stuff now. Um, so, let's go through a little bit of housekeeping first. One, congratulations to Tampa Bay for winning their cup. Uh, I'm glad Steven Stamkos got one. Dude deserves it. Secondly, USA! USA! Good job at the World Juniors, boys. Oh, and it's a little thing that I don't know if you guys have heard of. Training camp is here. It's about time. I mean, that off season just dragged and dragged and dragged, didn't it? So, with that said, let's try and get back into the swing of this, yeah? So, this video is going to be two things. It's going to be a little bit of like a roster recap, so that, if you forgot, oh, this guy signed with the organization, or this guy, is gone. That's what this is. And then, the second half of it, or, well, probably 2/3, is going to be me trying to figure out the rosters, and the lineups and stuff. And just like last year, Wichita's already started their season, so, yeah, if you want to figure out their lines, the ECHL's a blast. Have fun. So, we're going to start with Bakersfield, talk about who they signed, and unfortunately who they did not sign. And then we'll do Edmonton, because Condors fan first, Edmonton fan second. That's just kind of how it is here. So, obviously, the Condors did not sign 3 players from last year that I wanted to, be Condors for life. So Josh and Shane, if you guys are watching this, or if you have family that are watching this, one, hi, thank you for, all the great memories you guys gave us over the past few years. And go kill it in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton with the Penguins. Just don't, if you guys are going to win a cup this year, don't do it against the Condors. I am begging you. Because knowing my luck, Josh, you'll score the series winner, and Shane, you'll have a shutout in that game. Please don't. Don't kill my hopes and dreams, because then I have to hate you guys, and I don't want to do that. And then we also let go of Logan Day, who I thought down the stretch was the Condors' best defenseman last year. I don't know where Logan signed. If you want to come back, number 19 is still going to be there for you. Go ahead and take it. So, with those 3, unfortunately, out of the flock, let's go through who we did bring in. So, Bakersfield signed, what is that? 7 people? we're going to talk about 6 of them because Ryan Stanton was already in the Condors. He was already with the Condors a couple years ago. So we kind of know what Ryan does and what he brings to camp. So let's go through it. So going back a long way now, back to March of 2020, the month that nobody wants to talk about. Bakersfield made 4 AHL signings. We signed Liam Folks from Penn State, Yanis Yaks of American International College, Blake Christensen of AIC, and Devin Brousseau of Clarkson University. So let's talk about the new guys and where they're playing now. Because it's not for the Condors yet. So, Liam Folks. He's a 5'8", 175-pound center. Currently, he is in Denmark with the Frederick Shavn, I think I got the name right, White Hawks. In 14 games played, the 24-year-old left-handed center has a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. He's also 24, so, he just came off of playing college guys. And now he's playing, he's playing professionals. Mr. Christensen, age 25, is 5'9", 175 pounds. Left winger, left-handed shot. He's actually almost a point per game with I'm gonna butcher this, with Manglerud in Norway. 10 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. Devin Brousseau, also 25. It's a little bigger. 6'1", 203 pounds. Left-handed center. With in 29 games with Dornbirner EC of the Ice HL, which I'm pretty sure is just the rebranded name for the old DEL, because it sounds like it's all the same teams. But doesn't really matter if it's the same teams. They could call it, the Baseball Hockey League for all I care, as long as people are playing. Getting back on topic, in 29 games with the Bulldogs, he has 7 goals, 13 assists for 20 points. And the last signing for March that we need to talk about is Yanis Yaks. That's the pronunciation I've heard. It might be Janice. I don't know. I'm going with Yanis. Also aged 25. Is a 6 foot, 190-ish pound right-handed defenseman. In 15 games with Dynamo Riga of the KHL. And no, that's not, Dynamo that's in that's not Riga that's in, the VHL. No, he's with the KHL. So, the Russian NHL. 15 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. He's also played 1 game in Latvia, but I couldn't, he played 1 game and looks like he was just a guy. So, what can you do? And then, a couple months later, Edmonton signs James Hamblin. Now, this year, and the past couple years, have made me realize that I am now rooting for players who are younger than me. I don't like that. I understand why my family, why my aunt and my grandpa never really try and remember names. These are all grandkids to them. So, with that in mind, James Hamblin, who is coming off of a pretty good junior career, is a 21-year-old left winger who can also play center. He's 5'9", 176 pounds, which seems to be a trend, and he's a left-handed shot. This year, in 19 games with Östersunds IK of Hockey A10 in Sweden, which, as I understand it, is the third tier of Swedish hockey, so like the ECHL, I would assume, is that equivalent. He has 11 goals and 12 assists for 23 points. But in Medicine Hat with or in the WHL with the Tigers, in 323 games, it's spread over, I think it was 5 seasons, but like the first one had 5 games, so really 4. He had 105 goals, 168 assists for 273 points. Yeah, I'd take that. Oh, and also he was, just their captain for the past 3 years. And then the U17 Canadian team in 2015-16, he was their captain too. Great. It's always good to take a team's captain. And then in May, Edmonton made their second to last signing that we're going to talk about, Yanni Caldas. Now, he's 25, 5'11", 187, and he's a right-handed D-man. With Cornell, Cornell University, so this dude's, we know this dude is smart already. As their captain, he had 5 goals, 19 assists for 24 points in 29 games. With Dornbirner HC, 2 goals, 10 assists for 12 points in 29 games. So for a defenseman, yeah, sounds about right. 15, 20 points. And that's in like half of what he's going to play here. So, yeah, probably 15, 20 points. And then the last signing we're going to talk about happened in September, Graham McPhee. Now, obviously, Bakersfield also brought Ryan Stanton back, but like I said, we already kind of know about him. So, Mr. McPhee, age 22, is 6 foot, 175 pounds. He's left-handed and plays on the left wing. With the Vienna Capitals of the ISHL, 21 games, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. Now we get the speed round with the Oilers, because Ken Holland said, hey, all of you guys who have who are unrestricted free agents now, pretty much bye-bye. Leave. So, we're going to do the guys who are probably going to be here. We're going to do them first. Theodore Lennstrom was signed to a 1-year deal in late April. He's, I think, 25. Or 25 or 26. I didn't write it down. He's 6'1", 190 pounds, left-handed defenseman. In 18 games with Frölunda in the SHL, 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. Yeah, okay, fair. And then a guy who I wanted a couple years ago, and and I actually really disliked as a little kid, Adam Cracknell. Yes, the one who played with Calgary. Yes, the one who got into 2 games with the Ducks. Yes, the one who played in St. Louis a few years ago. That Adam Cracknell. He signed in September. He's 1 year, 2-way. Will probably be here. With Esbjerg of the Metalligaen. If there's any, Esbjerg Energy fans, I am sorry for that pronunciation. I'm from California. I don't speak. I think it's Norwegian is where Esbjerg is. Anyways, back on point. 17 games, 9 goals, 13 assists for 22 points. Awesome. And now comes the news that I was happy about, but a lot of Oilers fans were not. On October 7th, the prodigal son returned to Edmonton. Jesse Puljujärvi signed a 2-year deal worth, I believe it was $5 million in total. I'll figure that out and then write it in the description. He was assigned to Karpat in Liga, and in 16 games, 7 goals, 5 assists for 12 points. Awesome. I want him to succeed in Edmonton. Not just to spite, all the people that, that said, oh, this kid, he's got to get his head on straight. He needs to, I don't want him back. He has a bad attitude. He's 23. This is about when people's brains start to, it kind of develops. So, yeah, he probably had an attitude, but Peter Chiarelli also, destroyed the beginning of his career. It's not always, all Edmonton's blameless. Alright. Super speed round. Keep up with me if you can, okay? Tyler Ennis leaves for 10 minutes and then comes back to Edmonton. 1 year. Kyle Turris, 2 years. Mike Smith, same thing as Ennis. Leaves for 10 minutes, comes back. 1 year. Seth Griffith, Alan Quine, Tyson Barrie, or Seth Griffith, actually, 2 years. Alan Quine, Tyson Barrie, Dominic Cahoon, and Slater Cuckoo, all 1 year. Wasn't that fun? So, Griffith and Quine will be here, I can almost assure you. Tyson Barrie, Dominic Cahoon, and Slater Cuckoo are going to be in Edmonton. Not a chance they're here. Cuckoo, maybe. But that's if Bouchard says, hey, I want to play in the NHL now. And even then, who knows? But as it stands, that's probably, Cuckoo is going to be in Edmonton. Barrie will for sure be in Edmonton. The only way we will see Tyson Barrie in California this year is if he gets hurt and has to do rehab. Now, would it be fun to see another NHL defenseman come do rehab here? Kind of like what we had with Andrej Sekera? Yes. Do I want that? No. Tyson, do not get hurt. As someone who is also a Maple Leafs fan, I want to see you do better than last year. Alright. So, here comes the fun part for me. Now's when we get to decide, or when I get to say, hey, this is how I would put the team together. So, we're going to start up north because the first two lines are relatively easy. You ready? Here's some breaking news for you. Connor McDavid is the top line center. Who knew? I have him flanked by Tyler Ennis and Zach Kassian. Your second line, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Leon Draisaitl, Kyler Yamamoto. Why would you change two lines that worked? There's half the forwards done. Now, the bottom six. This is where things get a little fun. Because Dave Tippett and Ken Holland have said, we want the bottom six to be hard to get into this year. They said that they wanted a lot of competition to get onto this team. Which, it looks like that's going to be the case. With guys like Neal, and Haas, and a couple others, having, injuries or visa issues or, hopefully not COVID, but, with something that started in 2020, who knows? Hopefully nobody does. Because we just saw, as of this recording, we saw Dallas postpone their practice. We saw Columbus, have to postpone theirs, and then Pittsburgh, had to, or they didn't have to. They said, "Hey, we're going to do this just to be careful." Postponing their practice. Yeah, hopefully we don't have COVID with the Oilers, because this Canadian division's going to be fun. So the bottom two lines are going to be hard to get into, which, great. Motivate the bottom six, and they'll start playing, hey, I want to be in the top six, which is great, because then you get internal competition, which is always a good thing. So, how do I have the third and fourth line? Josh Archibald, Kyle Turris, Jesse Puljujärvi. The fourth line, Joakim Nygård, Jujhar Khaira, Alex Chiasson. I know, I hear you guys getting the pitchforks. I don't care. I'm going with NHL experience here. Jujhar Khaira and Alex Chiasson are NHL players. They might be depth NHL players, but they are NHL players. And the third line, I don't know, that's kind of the mishmash line. Kind of, Archibald was the only one who was here last year on that line, so I'm just kind of throwing it together, seeing if it works. Because I figure Archibald is fast and gritty. Turris is Kyle Turris. He can still pass the puck. And JP's pretty fast. It could work. Now, your two depth forwards. I know I'm skipping over the taxi squad. I'm getting to it. Your two depth forwards, in my opinion, are Alan Quine and Tyler Benson. Alan Quine has NHL experience as recently as a couple years ago. I think it was before he got to Stockton. So, 3 or 4. And then if you watched Tyler Benson last year here with the Condors, he's ready. He is NHL ready. And I will hear no arguments about it. The D pairings, are kind of thrown off by a certain someone being on IR. Get well soon, Oscar. Please. Um, as it stands, uh, I would order the pairs this way: Ethan Bear and Darnell Nurse as your top pair. Chris Russell, who just re-signed a much cheaper contract, or signed a cheaper extension. I think 2 years, I think was 1 or 2. Takes him up to the Seattle draft. Russell with Tyson Berry. And then your third pair, Caleb Jones and Adam Larson. And your depth guy is Slater Cuckoo. Those are pairings that Tippett has rolled with in training camp. And I'm just kind of basing it on, okay, how would I set up my, what order would I put those guys in? And I decided on that one. Your goaltenders is probably easy. I mean, it's easier than the top 6. It's Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith. I mean, you can't get easier than that. Now, your taxi squad, which is a new thing, and hopefully is a 1-year thing. I have the Edmonton Oilers taxi squad on opening night, consisting of James Neal, Dominic Cahoon, Gaetan Haas, William Lagesson, and Anton Forsberg. If Devon Shore, who is currently on a PTO, if he gets signed, he's there. If not, then those are your 5 taxi squad guys. That gives you 3 forwards, a defenseman, and a goalie. I don't see. I mean, sure, you could say, oh, I want Bouchard to have, 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie. You could. I don't think Bouchard is defensively ready. Not to start the year. But Ken Holland might see things differently. And who am I to argue with 4 Stanley Cups? So, the Bakersfield Condors. We're not going to talk about last year, other than to say, yikes. Just about everything that could have gone wrong, did. Except for, the season ending when it did, because otherwise, we were going to be 31st out of 31. Because San Jose was winning games there at the end, and yeah, we weren't. We were tied for last place. So, the Condors are looking to basically say, oh, you beat us up last year. We're going to do that to you now. So we're looking to destroy this division and show that the playoffs a couple years ago show that wasn't a fluke. So with the signings that the Condors have made, we basically have 5 lines and 4 defensive pairings. We have, like, what is that? 4, 5, 6, 7. We have like 8 extra players that theoretically could be sent to Wichita, but likely won't. So, how do I have the Bakersfield Condors and Jay Woodcroft setting up these lines? Your first line, as I see it, is Seth Griffith on the left, Ryan McLeod getting the bump up to first line center, and Patrick Russell on the right. Am I putting Patrick Russell there because I really, really, really love his game and hope he does well? Absolutely. Do I think he deserves to be on the top line? Absolutely. Now, there is an asterisk here. Because Patrick Russell played on the Oilers last year, Dave Tippett knows him. Should Patrick Russell make the Oilers, I think Alan Quine gets sent down and plays top line right wing. I think they play very similar games, except I think Quine might be a little bit more offensive. Which is great because Seth Griffith likes to shoot the puck. And then with Ryan McLeod, who's very, hey, I'm going to play good defense and also pass the puck a lot. Awesome. Line 2 is kind of your grind line in a little bit of a sense. You have Raphael Lavoie making his pro debut, which I am so excited to see. It won't be in person, but I don't care. A goal scored with 0 fans in Mechanics Bank Arena is the same as a goal scored with 15,000. I don't care how many fans are there if Raphael Lavoie scores a bunch of goals. Given that he's also not, from everything I've heard, not afraid to play physical, great. Be the big boy that you are. Hit people. Score goals. Don't be an idiot. And then I have Cooper Marody as the center. Yes, I know he played 10 games all of last year. I know that Elite Prospect shows him as only having played 1 this year. He's had basically a year off. Since the hit in the playoffs 2 years ago. If he's not better now, is he ever going to be? This is his chance to say, hey, that hit that, that dirty cheap shot that was thrown on me, gone. I'm good to play. And I'm ready to put up 80 points. So, Cooper, that's your challenge. Prove the doubters wrong. And then, rounding out that line of a couple young guys, is an old guy. Adam Cracknell. Could he be on the third line? Yeah, probably. I don't know. I think his game will work well on the second line. And if you don't like that as the second line, you can flip it with the third line. Kirill Maximov, Brad Malone, Ostap Safin. This is a big boy line. Maximov is, I think, 6'2", and like 210, I think was his weight last year. Malone is, I think 6 flat and almost 200. But he plays bigger than he is. And Ostap Safin, sure, he's maybe not as physical as the other two, but he's still 6'4" or 6'5", and like 220. If playing with Brad Malone does not teach you how to play a little bit of physical hockey, I don't think you're gonna learn how to play physical hockey. But this is also a skill line. We've seen Maximov's shot. Malone is, he's still really good. And Safin put up, I think, 50 points in like 40 games in the ECHL last year. Awesome. I will never say no to being more than a point per game, if it's over 30 games that you play. Um, and then your fourth line, I hesitate to say is the grind line, but it kind of is. You have Jacob Stuchel, Luke Esposito, and James Hamblin as your fourth line. Stuchel and Esposito they're going to go to the dirty areas. And they're going to get the puck, and they're going to keep the puck. And then when you got a guy who's scored, 200 and almost 300 points, in juniors, yeah, I think he's going to get the puck a lot. And I think he might score a lot of goals in this league. And then you have, you have your four forward signings of Brasseau, Folks, Christensen as line 5, and Graham McPhee as your depth guy, beyond the fifth line. But at the same time, any of those four can just kind of be on that fifth line and say, hey, I can play. And then we get to the 9 defensemen that the Condors will have. So, gonna say this now. Evan Bouchard is my top pairing defenseman with Ryan Stanton. Now, why would I put Evan Bouchard with Ryan Stanton? Let's look at what they're good at. Evan Bouchard likes to shoot the puck. He's very good at shooting the puck. He's very good at passing the puck. He's very good at handling the puck. Ryan Stanton is good at making sure the other team doesn't have the puck. At all. He's not really good at it, but that's what he's good at. Is, hey, you have the puck? No, you don't. Whether that's poke it, slash it, hit you, keep you away from it, that's what he's good at. What is Evan Bouchard maybe not great at? Doing that. And when he was paired with Keegan Lowe, which, thank God he's gone, Bouchard did pretty well defensively. I think it might be a good idea to pair him with a defensive defenseman. Defensive pairing number 2. I have Markus Niemelainen with Jake Kulovich. This one is just kind of, I want both of these guys to succeed. Kulovich, along with Logan Day last year, looked like one of the only Condors who really tried at the end of the year. And then Niemelainen is just a big man. He's 6'3", I think 230. And he's not afraid to hit people. Which, that always, when you're a big guy who likes to hit people, yes please. You always have a place on my team. And then you have your third pair. Of Theodore Lundstrom and Dmitry Samorukov. Now, Dmitry didn't really take as much of a step as I wanted him to last year. And Theodore's new. So, if you notice, I tried to kind of keep guys who were new or didn't really explode last year, lower in the lineup. I don't know, that it just kind of seems like, hey, you should reward the guys who did well last year. And then your fourth defensive pairing is Philip Kemp with Yanni Kaldis. Now, I did forget to mention that Edmonton signed Philip Kemp. From everything I've heard, he's a defensive defenseman. And Caldas, again, is new. I don't know that much about how he plays. And then your ninth defenseman is Yanis Yaks. And then the thing that is going to kill the Condors, goaltending. So they let go of Shane Starrett, which kind of sucks. It sucks for Condors fans. It sucks for him. It's great for about two people. Stuart Skinner and Dylan Wells are about the only two who benefit from this. Because if they re-signed Starrett or sent Forsberg down here, one of them's going to the ECHL. And my bet would be Dylan. Because, oh boy, neither of these guys did really good last year. I'm not going to go into their stats because that'll just depress me, and it's too early in the morning for that. Yeah, if the Condors are going to go anywhere, it's going to be because we bailed out our goalies. These are a couple young guys, and they're still learning how to be consistent, which as a goalie is like the number one thing. Be at least consistently league average. And neither of these guys were last year. Which opens up the third goalie, who I'm pretty sure is turning pro this year, Olivier Rodrigue. Now, if I end up getting this wrong and he doesn't turn pro this year, or no, because he was, whatever. If he ends up not coming to Bakersfield, he's a non-factor, obviously. If he does, give the young kid a shot. I've heard he's really, really, really good. But yeah, as it stands, Stuart Skinner is your starter, and Dylan Wells is your backup. God help us all. So, those lines were kind of based on what I saw last year, a little bit of training camp stuff, and just kind of how I would like to set up lines. With, kind of the NHL 20 method of power forward, a playmaker, and a shooter. But yeah, so at this point, there's, a week before training, or before the regular season? I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to watch some hockey. I'm ready to watch all 7 Canadian teams want to murder each other by Valentine's Day. And I'm ready to see all of the AHL Pacific Division teams despise each other. And, also the AHL Atlantic, where there's 3 teams. Yeah, no, I'm ready for hockey season. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to leave 2020 behind and just say, hey, this is part of 2020. This is that hellish year's fault. So, on that happy note, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this 45-minute essay. And thank God it's hockey season. Because that was the longest not summer of my life.